Hello, Yaxley infants, it's Reverend Sarah, and I'm going to do another assembly with you this week. And you are back in school. That is such amazing news. Yay! I know your teachers are so happy to see you again. They've been really looking forward to you all coming back. So I hope that as you come back into school, it's not too strange for you and that you enjoy seeing your friends, seeing your teachers, and being part of your school community. Well, I've got a story for you today about looking after each other. And it's something that I know you do very well in your school. The Bible tells us in lots of places about looking after each other and how God looks after us. But this is a story about some very special friends. I hope that you have some very special friends, people who look out for you and that you look out for them as well. That maybe if someone's lonely in the playground, you might go and play with them if you're able to at the moment. That you might help somebody out if you can do. So I've got a story about a man who was not very well. He hadn't been very well for a very long time. He wasn't able to walk. But his friends had heard about Jesus. They'd heard lots of different stories about who Jesus was, about how special he was. And so they wanted to try and get their friend to see Jesus. Now that's really difficult because he didn't walk. He's what they call paralysed. But that didn't stop Jesus' friends. Now, if you had to think about this problem, what would you do if you were thinking, okay, I want to get this person to there, but they can't walk? Well, do you know, these four people, these four friends, were really clever, and they thought together. And they thought, I know what we'll do. We'll actually take him on his bed and we'll take him to see Jesus. Now, you've got to remember the stories I'm telling from the Bible are from a couple of thousand years ago, so they wouldn't have had a nice bed like you do. They wouldn't have a duvet. It would have been a bit more like having a rug, maybe something you throw over yourself on the sofa if you're not feeling very well or you want to keep warm. So they put their friend on this rug, and they each got hold of a corner of one side of the rug, and they lifted and carried him until they got to the place where Jesus was. Now, Jesus was teaching people. He's like your teacher. He was telling them lots of things that he knew. He was trying to help them to better understand who God was and who he was. Now, Jesus was in a house. Again, didn't look really like our house. His house in those days were kind of one floor, and they had steps going outside, up the outside. It's not like our house that have staircases inside. These went outside. And these friends got to this house. And there were so many people there because so many people wanted to come and listen to Jesus. And they thought, well, Jesus is all the way in there. How are we going to get our friend in there? And so they stopped and they thought again. They thought, how on earth are we going to do this? And they had an idea. They thought, let's take our friend up on the roof. So they got hold of a corner of that rug again. And up they went up the steps outside the house. And they were now on the roof. Remember that roofs were not like our roofs, which are very steep. They were very flat in those days. They were very low. Don't ever go onto a roof, okay? Unless you're with somebody who knows what they're doing. But these four friends knew what they were doing, and the roof was very low. So they went up and took their friend up. So, okay, they've sorted out a couple of problems so far. How do they get their friend to Jesus? And they got there and found that Jesus was inside in the midst of all these people. There were so many people there because they wanted to see Jesus. So they got onto the roof and they had another stop and another think. Now we can think about our roofs today. Our roofs are made of lots of different materials, but back then they were made of mud and stones. They didn't have all the different things that we had. Remember, we're thinking a very long time ago. So they thought, I know what we can do. We can get the different bits of the roof out. Again, don't do this unless you're with somebody who knows what they're doing. And they got the different bits of the roof out. And they were able then to let their friend on this mat through the roof in front of Jesus. My goodness, aren't these very clever friends in what they thought of doing? So they let this man down in front of Jesus. And this man hadn't walked for many years. And Jesus was able to heal him. He was able to make him walk and enable him to walk. So this man got up, he picked up the mat he'd been on, and he walked off. And he walked off saying things about how amazing God and Jesus were. Now, isn't this the most amazing story? It's amazing that Jesus could heal people. But what I love about this story is this man's friends, in what these friends did. They had to think at each stage, what do we do? It's a bit like in school. If your teacher sets you a really difficult problem, you have to think through it. You have to maybe break it down to little bits and do it bit by bit. And you learn bit by bit. Is how we all learn. And so his friends had to think bit by bit, what do I do? Okay, we'll do that next. Oh, there's another problem. What do we do next? Okay, I know how to solve that one. And eventually they worked out how to get their friend down to Jesus where they wanted him to be. And sometimes things can seem really difficult. Sometimes you might have a really difficult problem and you might think, I'm never going to be able to solve this. I'm never going to be able to work out the answer. But do you know, if we help each other, we can often do things together. Because you'll bring different things that I won't have. You'll understand computers far, far better than I understand computers. And there'll be things that I know, so I know about Jesus and God. So I can tell you some stories about Jesus and God. And so isn't it amazing when we work together and we work as a community? Now your school is a community, it's a group of people, and you spend a lot of your day together in your classrooms, doing different things on the playground, when you have your lunches. You do lots of things together. We call our church a community as well, a place where people come together and do lots of different things. And we also call Yaxley, our village, a community because it's a place made up of lots of different people, lots of different organisations. So you might be part of Rainbows or Brownies, or Cubs or Scouts. I have to think through them very carefully now as to what they are. You might have been part of a different club, a sports club maybe. Perhaps you've been meeting in your club through Zoom or online. And they are different communities. And communities are really wonderful. Sorry, it's a bit of a shudder of my laptop then, as I thought I'll take you for a little walk. And it's amazing that we can be part of communities, part of groups of people. And also in your families, you are in groups of people. And on this Sunday, you might want to think particularly and remember your mum or maybe that person who cares for you, as it's Mother's Day on Sunday. So it's great to think about those people that help us and to celebrate them like the way you are celebrated for the different things that you do. I want to just show you one thing, and that is our food bank sign. And our food bank is a place so people can come and receive food when they don't have any. Maybe something difficult has happened at home and they just don't have the money for food. And what's amazing is that our food bank, people from our church bring food. People from the village of Yaxley bring food. Your school has given food to the food bank. And it's so amazing what we can do when we all work together. I'm going to bring you back to our star, and I'm hoping this evening you can see it. Oh, you can see it better. That's brilliant. Because someone said to me, we couldn't see the star last time you filmed. So I've come over to church a little bit later in the day. And you can see our star in our window. I wonder if you can see the other one now. I'm going to see if you can. Oh, you can as well. Brilliant. And these are the stars that we lit a year ago. Because it's a year ago, pretty much, that we came out of our church building, like you came out of school a year ago. And you've been back for a little bit, as we've been back for a little bit. And then you were back out for a little bit, as we've been back out for a little bit. But our star reminds us, like I said to you last time, that we will come back together, just as you come back together this week as a school. We will come back together as a church. And I really look forward to the day when I can actually come into school and see you properly, because I really miss seeing you all, but it's lovely to be able to join you at least on a video assembly. So maybe when you're walking past our church, or maybe today, and you look at that star, we can think of the different communities that we're part of, the different groups of people that we're part of, and how we can help them today. So we're going to take a moment of thinking time or reflection, and then I'm going to say a prayer. If you want to join me, you can stay amen at the end after me, but you don't have to. So you might want to look at the star and just think, what groups of people am I part of? What kind of things do I enjoy with those? And what kind of things do I give? Because we all bring different things to different groups and communities. So let's have a thinking moment. So I'm going to pray. Loving God, we thank you for the different communities that we are part of. We thank you for Yaxley Infant School, for our friends and our teachers and all our school staff. We thank you for the other groups that we are part of, where we can go and be part of other activities. As we look at this star, we think of our different communities and we look forward to coming back together. So, God, we thank you for each other. Amen. Well, Yaxley Infants, have a great week. Have a lovely weekend, and I will hopefully be back with you before you break up for the holidays. Take care and see you soon, hopefully. Bye.